Hi friends!
We are back again.
Back for another art project today. Avery?
Inhales!
A 3D
Art.
cube.
No, we're doing art.
A cube?
How dare you?
What does three-dimensional mean?
Three-dimensional means you take a square and then you say, you know what, I don't like this. And you add a line here and here. And then you go like...
Three-dimensional
now
means
you
it
have
has
four
length,
squares.
width, and
Height.
depth or height. Good job. All right, so all you're going to need for this is
Mathematics
some
and
white
smartness.
paper, any size.
And you also need to be good at art because if you're
Colored
good at art, it's going to
pencils.
look like what we said before, a messy jumble.
Colored pencils, just one. You don't need a whole pack.
A pencil.
Yeah, if you have a whole
And
bag. some control.
Rulers.
You definitely need a ruler. Okay? If you don't know how to use a ruler yet, ask your parents first. You
Hey-ya!
can pause this video at any time.
No, you can't.
Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is draw a very small square. It doesn't have to be too small, maybe an inch, inch and a half, or 2 inches, somewhere here. And we need to leave plenty of room on another part of our paper to put something we're going to call a vanishing point. You don't have to worry about that quite yet. Go ahead and take your ruler. And the way we draw straight lines is holding the ruler down with one hand and drawing a straight line against it. Now your square does not have to be perfect by any means. And in fact, if you draw a rectangle, that's okay too. There is step 1. Step 2 is somewhere down here, maybe about, let's see, how many inches would that be? Maybe about 3, 4, or even more inches away, we're going to draw a little dot. That dot is called our vanishing point. Hey kids, what does vanishing mean?
Disappearing.
It's disappearing.
Good. So all of our lines are going to vanish or disappear to that point. Okay. So our next step is to draw very, very, very light lines called guidelines from each of the corners to the vanishing point. We're going to do this corner, and this corner. And the reason we're not doing this one back here is because that one would be drawing through the shape itself, and we don't want to draw through our shape. So if the line is going to go through your shape, like this one would, if I connect the edge of that to my vanishing point, I would have to draw right through my shape. So again, we are going to draw a super light guideline. Super light means I'm going to line my ruler up with this first corner. Everyone do that with me. Slide your ruler over to the vanishing point, and then double check and make sure it's still in your corner. And I'm going to hardly press down on my pencil. And when I move it, I should have a line that goes from the corner of my square to my vanishing point. The reason we're drawing it really light is because we're going to end up erasing part of this. And if we drew really dark, we would end up with a divot in our paper and it would be harder to erase. So our next step is to draw a line from this corner also to our vanishing point. This technique I'm teaching you guys is called one-point perspective. One-point perspective is a way of showing 3D objects on a flat surface. So in order to turn our flat square into a 3-dimensional cube, we need to go to the vanishing point from every corner. So now I'm working from this corner to the vanishing point. I'm going to line my ruler up with this corner. I'm going to slide it over to the vanishing point. I'm going to double check, and I'm going to draw another super light line. So these lines should look like they disappear once they get to the vanishing point, right? And the word vanish means to disappear. Fantastic. And the very last one we're going to do is this one up here. So if you're ready to roll along, you go ahead, and from this corner up top to our vanishing point, we are going to connect another super light line. So remember, double check always, line your ruler up with your corner and your vanishing point. Double check to make sure it's right on the corner and right on the vanishing point, and draw a super light line. Okay, now you should look like you have a cube that goes on and on and on forever and ever and ever. Now you could leave it like this, or you can do something called cutoff lines, which is a super technical term, and cut off this side and this side and make it look like a cube that stops or has an ending. So the way you do that is you take your ruler and you line it up with the bottom of our cube, and you line it up parallel. Does anyone know what parallel means, kids? What does it mean, Peyton?
Parallel means they will never cross each other.
Exactly, they run side by side and never touch. So we're going to take our ruler, you can use both hands if you want, line it up with that bottom line of your square, and you're going to slide it down, keeping your ruler parallel. You can make it as small or as big as you want it to be. So if I was to start up here again, you can do it with me. Hold it parallel. I'm going to slide mine down and make mine kind of look like the example, just like a regular cube, like you would find maybe on a dice. And I'm going to draw a line with my pencil from the first line to the second line and stop, because I'm mimicking that line. So I want that line down here. So I'm going to take a super light pencil line and draw my line and stop once I hit my second line. And I'm going to do the same thing now to this side. If you drew too far, no problem, just take your eraser and erase a little bit. And the next thing we're going to do is now we're going to spin our ruler up and down, because now we want to line our ruler up with that line, and we want it to be parallel with our line that goes vertical or up and down. So we're going to line it up with the second side of our cube, and we're going to slide it out until we meet our first friend down here. So again, we're trying to stop it right around there where our first line stopped. So I'm going to line my ruler up parallel. I'm going to slide it out until I meet that friend down there, and I'm going to draw a line going up and down. That's just like this line, a little bit smaller. Those two are parallel, and those two are parallel. And look at what we have here. And the very next step is to erase any guidelines you don't need anymore, which is why I asked you to draw them nice and light. Now, if this is your first time and you drew them dark, or you want to try again, that is absolutely fine. Practice always makes perfect. This is a really fun one to practice, and this is something you can use later on whenever you're drawing something. It's a nice skill to teach people. So now we take a look. We have a cube with 1, 2, 3 sides. Now we're going to add some color. Normally, you wouldn't need to keep your vanishing point. You wouldn't even need to label your vanishing point. In fact, if you'd like to erase those, you can. All you need for the next step is one colored pencil. It doesn't matter what color. My example was blue. I'm holding purple in my hand. Avery's got green. Peyton's got green. And the way we're going to make 3 values out of one colored pencil is if you press down really, really, really hard, and you don't have to do this, I'm just showing you, that makes a dark value or a shade. If you press down medium, that makes your midtone. That's the regular color of the object. And if you press down really, really lightly, we get a different value. And value is the lightness or darkness of an object, and that makes our highlight. Okay? Or tint. Yes, thank you, Avery. Tint is an excellent word. I'm going to zoom in a little bit for you guys. And choose whichever side you would like. And let's do our midtone. That's our regular color. And let's just press down medium, and we can color in the front of our cube with a medium value. Now, if you think it's cool just to sit around and make cubes, you don't even have to color them in if you don't want to. But this is a way to make it even look more three-dimensional. If you don't have a colored pencil, what you can do is just grab a pencil, a regular pencil, and make 3 values out of that. A regular pencil's lead is gray. It's made out of graphite. And you can press down really, really hard and make a dark gray. You can press down medium and make a medium gray. And then you can press down really, really lightly and make a light gray. So this works whichever way, or just leave it as is. There's our midtone. Now decide on where your highlight's going to be. Whichever side you'd like to go lighter, I'm going to press down really, really light. Make it a very light value. In the very last section, whichever section in your box that is, there's no rhyme or reason to it. You can make your shadow or your darkest value. And this you can just make by pressing down a little bit harder. Now, if you're fancy and you have colored pencils that have 3 different shades of one color, you could certainly use 3 different colored pencils that have different shades of one color. And there you have it, a cube created by 1-point perspective. And here's Avery's. She did a fantastic job. She's even naming hers.
The rainbow cube.
Fantastic. And Peyton went rogue over here. And he's created some cubes on his own and even made a little house. Whatever you do, have fun and good luck.